Hello and welcome to Quays News. My name is Tom Pauline.
And I'm Adam Clark. Here's what's coming up on today's show.
Tributes continue to pour in as Manchester United fans arrive at Old Trafford ahead of tonight's Champions League fixture against Danish side FC Copenhagen.
As we draw close to the end of Black History Month, events are still taking place across Manchester, highlighting issues within the Afro-Caribbean community.
And a man has been sentenced following a stabbing in Fallowfield. Leonie Husselby has been at Manchester Crown Court today.
Just yards behind me, the family of Thomas Murphy gathered in force today, delivering heartbreaking victim statements at the sentencing of 23-year-old Stephen Onwuzu.
And famous TikTok star Julius Brophy is raising money for charity by holding a stepathon in Manchester.
Tonight, Manchester United play their first match since the passing of England and United football royalty Sir Bobby Charlton.
Tributes have been paid over the weekend, and tonight the 1966 World Cup star will be remembered on the cover of the match programme. A wreath will be laid on his seat in the director's box, as well as staff and players wearing black armbands. Our reporter Kate Snoddy is at Old Trafford.
Here at Old Trafford, 3 days on from Manchester United and England legend Sir Bobby Charlton passed away aged 86 after a 3-year battle with dementia. The love for Sir Bobby Charlton is still very apparent amongst fans, and they're continuing to leave respect by leaving flowers, shirts in honour of the Munich air disaster survivor, Ballon d'Or winner and a vital member of England's 1966 World Cup winning team. The impact of Sir Bobby Charlton's death reaches further than football rivalry amongst fans across the country, as they've come to pay tribute, leaving Liverpool, Everton, Chelsea and other shirts have been left. Tributes have poured out across social media and in stadiums as the former Busby Babe, Marcus Rashford, took to Instagram just hours after the news broke to say, "Thank you very much for the support and the advice you provided me. The win was for you and your family." After arriving at St George's Park yesterday for the Nationals League camp, the Lionesses have paid respect by laying wreaths for Sir Bobby Charlton and had a minute's silence. Where is it? The lasting survivor of Manchester United's Holy Trinity, Dennis Law, spoke on Manchester United's club website, stating, "Another sad day, what can I say? Sir Bobby Charlton was an unbelievable player and gentleman. Manchester United meant everything to him. We had many special years and successful years together, as he was a joy to play with. He knew where every player was on the pitch, and that was a dream." Tonight, during Manchester United's first return to Old Trafford since the news, facing Copenhagen in the Champions League, a minute's silence will be held and black armbands will be worn in respect to great Sir Bobby. Similar respects were paid at Manchester United's game against Everton on Sunday. To many, Sir Bobby Charlton was more than just a player. David Beckham made this known. "It all began with Sir Bobby. Sir Bobby was the reason I had the opportunity to play for Manchester United. I will forever be grateful to the man I was named after, somebody I looked up to and a hero to many across the world." Earlier today, we had the opportunity to speak to a Manchester United fan and who shared their local and fond memories of Sir Bobby.
The speed of him, the shot on him, you know, like you get people like Lineker, they just tap it in, don't they? In the box. Well, he used to launch it like miles out, you know what I mean? He'd smash it that hard. But the goalie didn't stand a chance. If he'd try to save it, it'd knock him in the back of the net, you know what I mean? Oh, he was amazing, the superb talent. He was ridiculously good. But I always loved him as a player, as a bloke. Fantastic. Getting a bit emotional, I have to go.
That's just one fan's pure emotion when reflecting on the death of one of football's greatest, Sir Bobby Charlton.
Regent Retail Park is home to many shops and jobs in the city of Salford.
However, a new planning application has been submitted which will demolish the shops for high-rise flats instead. Is Norrison finds out more.
Regent Retail Park is home to many different shops and establishments that are widely used by the public of Salford.
Are we clear?
However, a recent planning application has recently been submitted, which means that the shops behind me will be replaced with high-rise flats, and the people of Salford are not happy.
Living like this way, I feel like we're kind of far from the city centre, so I can't really nip out on my break and stuff to go and get stuff. So I feel like it would be a shame if we lost these shops because they're just so convenient. And I can only imagine how many people work here. Like, it's such a shame. I just feel like there's so many flats in Manchester already. Like, surely we can save some of the shops and maybe put them somewhere else where there's just like mostly land.
Well, it will mean that we'll lose our jobs, more flats. So no shops for people to come to, nothing really. It'll just be flattened and there'll be nothing here. So there's thousands of people with no jobs. Sad, really.
It'd be a shame, but as I say, people need housing. People need to live somewhere. If these shops will do nothing if there's nobody living here. If these hadn't been built, and a lot of these around here, these probably would have been shut a long time ago.
It's going to be a massive loss. This area needs this retail park. For as long as I can remember, you know, I've been coming up here for over 20 years now, and I live on the other side of frigging Bolton, so it proves something. Yeah. So no, it'll be devastating for the people around here, especially the older people, you know, because this is where they come. All they'd have is Sainsbury's, and that isn't right.
This information has been spreading all over social media, and a resident from the area named Nick Leonard has set up a petition against the application. The community relies heavily on the services and jobs that the Regent Retail Park provides and is a lifeline for many. However, the application is still a work in progress, which means plans are left unclear. Isabella Norrison, Quays News.
And as we draw closer to the end of Black History Month, events are still taking place across Manchester to highlight issues within the Afro-Caribbean community.
Our reporter Courtney Holder attended one that takes a look into men's health.
For men like Trevor, a simple blood pressure test could be a lifesaver, with African and Caribbean men more at risk to a range of health conditions. Here at Withington Library, they're helping them to spot the signs early.
You know, your body changes as you get older, and I've been kind of experiencing lots of that kind of stuff, really.
The event was a collaboration between local health organisations and the Caribbean and African Health Network. Checks included blood pressure, blood sugar levels and mini ECGs to check for heart abnormalities. For men in the Afro-Caribbean community, events like this are so important.
The case of just getting the opportunity in free time, again, to get a checkup and to check for your prostate as well. If that was made available, then it could be a lot more easier for us.
Currently, black men are twice as likely to be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, are at greater risk of having high blood pressure, and while 1 in 8 men get diagnosed with cancer, 1 in 4 of those men would be black. Regular health checkups could help with earlier detection of these kinds of health issues, or could help potentially prevent them completely.
High blood pressure and diabetes are so rife in our community, and a lot of people don't even know they've got it till something happens. You know, they'll have a stroke or heart attack. And the thing about these diseases is some of them, the side effects can be prevented if they're treated, and not necessarily with medication.
Khan is currently working with the government to help increase access to these kinds of checkups and to provide better healthcare for the Afro-Caribbean community.
One person to go and seek help before it gets too serious, then that's what we do.
A man has been sent to a psychiatric facility in Bury today after stabbing his roommate to death last year.
Family of the victim, Thomas Murphy, travelled from the Republic of Ireland to pay tribute to his memory in Manchester Crown Court today. Leonie Russell-B reports.
Just yards behind me today, the family of 42-year-old Thomas Murphy gathered in force to deliver heartbreaking victim statements at the sentencing of 23-year-old Stephen Owusu. Owusu stabbed Thomas Murphy 34 times in September of last year with a kitchen knife over an argument about a plate. After police were called to the address at around 6:40 p.m, Owusu admitted in custody to killing Thomas Murphy and said he picked a fight and lost it. Owusu was sent for psychiatric assessment before the trial due to concerns about what he may do to himself or others. During the sentencing, the court heard the psychiatric doctors concluded Owusu was suffering from paranoid schizophrenia and that a psychiatric facility would benefit him and the public more than a prison sentence. Statements from the family were heard in court, with Thomas Murphy's daughter describing him as the life and soul of every party. Sobbing in the courtroom, Lily, the daughter of Thomas Murphy, said her family travelled to Ireland for what they hoped would be a traditional open casket Irish funeral. She said, "I was hoping to see my dad one last time and say goodbye. I was heartbroken when I found out it wouldn't be because his face was unrecognisable." Thomas Murphy's father, Joe, talked about the immense impact his son's death has had on the family and questioned did he suffer as he died. Judge John Potter paused throughout the sentencing to allow family members and friends of Thomas Murphy to leave when the distressing details of Owusu's crime were being laid out. The judge described Owusu's act as distinguishing a beacon of light and gave his profound condolences to the family of Thomas Murphy and thanked them for their attendance and courage for speaking in court. Judge John Potter determined that Stephen Owusu was guilty of manslaughter with diminished responsibility, and an indefinite hospital order was imposed, and he was taken from the Crown Court to Signet Hospital, a secure mental health unit in Bury. Leonie Husselby, Quays News.
A domestic abuse charity, Salford Survivors Project, are appealing for donations of old phones to enable victims to contact their helpline.
Our reporter Maisie Hall joins us in the studio to tell us more.
So Maisie, what is Salford Survivors Project?
So the Salford Survivors Project is a volunteer-run charity which aims to help anyone suffering or being affected by domestic or family abuse. They actively encourage people to see themselves as survivors and not victims. They try to empower people to acknowledge the issues in their lives and encourage and support them to make positive changes. They often put out appeals on their Facebook for the public to donate items that may be help to survivors.
And so what is actually their latest appeal, Maisie?
So their latest appeal is for people to donate old phones to the charity for victims who may not have access to a phone. This may be due to their perpetrator having taken their phone or taken it away from them. Having broken their phone, sorry. Having a phone is a lifeline for allowing them to keep in touch with friends and family and to be used to contact the police and other services. Here is the appeal that Jane Broom from the Salford Survivors Project has posted.
We can help them with clothing, we can help them with food, we can help with some support. But when it comes to having a mobile phone, when you're miles away from your family and your support system, it's so important.
As you can see from the clip, the charity is desperate for donations and this will make a difference to a lot of victims. The Office for National Statistics showed that 4.4% of people aged 16 years and over experienced domestic abuse in the last year, and Greater Manchester Police made 19,588 arrests in the last year in connection with domestic abuse. However, many more goes on unreported, which is why it is essential for victims to be able to call the police.
Perfect, thanks Maisie. And finally, Manchester's very own TikTok famous Stepperton coach Julius Burfey held his first Stepperton class for breast cancer prevention last Thursday. Our reporter Heidi Kershaw went down to give it a go.
You might know him from his ever-growing TikTok page where his most popular videos boast over 30 million views, but Julius Burfey's high-energy feel-good step classes have earned him a loved and respected place in the online and Manchester fitness communities. For Breast Cancer Awareness Month, charity Preventing Breast Cancer reached out to Julius with the idea of doing a stepathon to raise money.
I always wanted to do like a charity or a fundraiser type of class, and when I got reached out by one of the guys that does preventing, breast cancer, I was like, well, that's a great idea, and I really wanted to do that. The main thing that really pushed me as well, because I did have a girl come in, and she just basically talked to me, she's like, oh, this is my first, class outside of chemotherapy, you know, and to me that was like, whoa, that was like a really heartwarming feeling. I was like, oh, that's amazing. And she keep coming back every week as well, which is amazing. So I think that to do that cause itself is probably the best thing ever.
Preventing Breast Cancer is the only UK charity entirely dedicated to the prediction and prevention of breast cancer, and with over 55,900 new cases each year, early detection and education is vital. Aside from providing a platform to aid raising awareness for charities, Stepathon has also helped Julius grow a strong community.
I never want to be like the same as every other classes. You know, you come in, you do your class, you go home. I think I connected a lot more with my members through classes. So we all come together outside of class and do stuff together.
Last year there weren't enough steps, for example, and a girl offered to share it with me, and we didn't even know each other, which was really nice because if not, like, I wouldn't have been able to take the class, which meant that she could only use the step for half of the class, but she didn't like really mind about that as long as like it allowed me to take the class instead of being left out.
I just want the whole world to be part of Stepathon. Anyway, it will be a safe place for anyone that comes, any member, any woman that wants to come. I just want them to feel like they're very welcome, very at home, and they can just have fun.
So Tom, do you fancy giving that a go?
Well, I've never done dancing before, so personally, I don't know how it go, but you know, always got to give things a go. What about you?
Probably not. It's one of those things that I don't think I'd do too well about. So I think it'd probably be a bit embarrassing for a TV package.
Well, anyways, that's all we have time for today. Thank you.
Goodbye.